It's more than just getting high. You've got a beautiful mind, a beautiful mind. It's more than just getting high. You've got a beautiful mind, a beautiful mind. We reconnect to 22. It feels good seeing you. I tell you what I'm going through. Now I can't live without you. So I sit and I wait on our great escape. Get high, make mistakes, find love just the same. Cause there's love, then there's...
Hello mates, I hope you're all doing well. Today, I'm going to be talking through the pros and the cons of getting tattoos. This is not going to be a generic pros and cons though, nah. These are going to be my personal pros and cons, so if you disagree with me, remember, you're not me and you never will be. I have quite a few tattoos at this point. I have 1.5 sleeves and I've been getting tattooed for 9 years now, so hopefully I'm a little bit qualified to talk about this shit. Pro number one, and this is probably the most obvious one and the biggest reason that people want to get tattoos, and that is that they look fucking cool. Tattoos instantly make everyone look 100 times cooler than they actually are. If the tattoos are good, obviously. Crap tattoos, if anything, make you look 100 times dorkier than you are. But good tattoos, all look cool. My tattoos have been a huge confidence boost for me. I feel so much more like myself, you know, since I got them. And in particular, since I finished this sleeve. Moving on to con number one. Again, this is my opinion, but I think that they are an absolute pain to heal. I can deal with the pain of getting them, but for me personally, I find it just quite stressful healing tattoos. I properly like to baby my tattoos for the first week or so after I get them and make sure that they're clean and I've got plenty of butter locks on them so they don't dry out or get scabby or lose any of their vibrancy. I try not to really do anything for at least a couple of days after I get them so I can just like properly like look after them pretty much full time, you know. I always think this shit is going to be on me for life, so the least I can do is look after it now. What I do now is going to affect how the tattoos look for years and years to come. Also, I did fuck up a couple of my early tattoos when I didn't heal them properly, so you know, I've really learnt my lesson since then. Pro number two is they help me to feel more complete. The more tattoos I get, the closer I feel to my final goal of being pretty covered in tattoos, and as stupid as all this shit sounds, the more I feel like me. I know that will sound ridiculous to some people, but I feel like I'm just supposed to be covered in loads of really vibrant and colourful traditional tattoos, and each time I get tattooed, I feel closer to that image in my mind. Next con number two. This one kind of ties into my last pro, and that is that gaps become super annoying. When you've got a sleeve in progress and you've got some random spaces in between pieces, for me anyway, those gaps become pretty fucking annoying and I can't wait to fill them. I've had some pretty egregious gaps in between my tattoos before, and the gaps that I currently have in my left sleeve I'm finding particularly annoying at the moment, and hopefully I'll be sorting that shit out pretty soon. I love the look of patchwork sleeves, so the gap thing is just something you have to deal with along the way, but that doesn't mean it is not pretty bloody annoying. I feel like I'm saying more about the cons than the pros, but that is just because I'm better at moaning than I am about talking about the things that I in fact like. Next pro, and this is one of my favourite things about getting tattoos, and that is that they are really fun to plan out. I really enjoy coming up with an idea, looking for reference images, messaging my tattoo artist, paying the deposit, booking in a date, that date getting closer and it's starting to feel like Christmas or some shit. Honestly, I feel like a little kid in December who's really looking forward to Christmas Day. I also love kind of working with the artist, giving them my idea and then going back and forth about how to make it work in the space and make it as good as it possibly can be. I love that shit. Right, con number three. You may have noticed, but tattoos tend to be quite expensive. It makes sense that they would be expensive. I mean, they are literally a lifelong investment, but I have to save up for tattoos, and then it's somebody's birthday or it's Christmas or we need something for the house or whatever, and that's less money that I can put towards getting my tattoos. I'm somebody who likes to book in full days of getting tattooed as well, so I can get a few pieces in one sitting and then heal them all at once, so I have to save up for a little while for that shit, and I'm not the most patient person in the world, nor am I particularly good at saving money, so this does lead to some frustration on my part. Pro number 4, tattoos are a great form of self-expression. Whilst most of my tattoos don't have a huge deal of meaning, I do feel like if you were to look at my tattoos, you get a pretty good idea of who I am as a person and what kind of shit I'm into. I love that a stranger could look at me and just hopefully get a vibe of what I'm all about just from looking at my tattoos, you know? Con number 4. Now this one is probably pretty obvious from all the other shit that I've said, but it's the feeling of always wanting more, and then you get more, and that satiates your appetite for a few weeks, and then boom! That feeling returns just as hard as before, and I'm back to wanting more tattoos again, and the whole process starts all over again. People always say that tattoos are addictive, and there are definitely worse addictions to have, but sometimes I wish that feeling would just go away for a little while. It is my own fault though, I was the one who put myself on this journey, so I can only blame myself. Okay, last pro, and hopefully I can explain this in a way that doesn't make me sound like a fucking sadist, but I really like the fact that you have to earn tattoos by going through the pain of getting them, putting up with the further pain and fucking general annoyance of healing them, and then once you're through all that shit, you've then got this badass image on your body for the rest of your life that you can be really proud of. I pride myself, not in a macho way or anything, I mean fucking look at me. I pride myself on sitting tough through difficult sessions in spicy places, knowing that at the end of it, the result is going to be totally worth the pain. Don't get me wrong, I don't enjoy the pain, but I like the fact that once I'm through all of it, I've got this prize waiting for me on the other side. Hopefully that all makes sense and you don't think that I'm some pain-loving weirdo. And the last con, and this is something that I'm sure females can relate to especially, is unsolicited touching from random people who think just because you've got tattoos, that somehow gives them the right to touch you, to lift up your sleeves, to look at them without really asking or even really saying anything to you. Probably the worst experience I've had of this was at an old job. The boss's dad, who I'd never met, he comes up to me, he lifts up my sleeve to look at my lady hair tattoo, and he just went, ugh, pulled my sleeve back down and walked off without saying anything else. Like, dude, what gives you the right? It wasn't the fact that he said, people are of course entitled to their opinion, but it's the fact that I never met him. He felt like he could put his hands on me without asking, and then once he'd finished, he just walked off and that was it. It's messed up. Don't touch anyone without their permission. I don't care if you want to get a better look at their tattoos. Fucking ask them. And that is it. Those are all my personal pros and cons for getting tattoos. I hope you guys found this entertaining and were able to follow along with all my nonsense. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like, hit the subscribe button and all that other YouTube bollocks. If you like the music that you're hearing in the background, it was actually all produced by me. I have another channel where I post beats/instrumentals for singers to write songs to, so if that is something you're interested in, I'll put a link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.